Thank you for joining today's session. I'm Kelly Smith, and we're going to discuss effective and budget friendly development ideas for SaaS and soft skills in a remote environment. There are a lot of challenges in today's workplace. Not only are we dealing with the pandemic, which has increased the number of remote workers and the novel concept of Zoom fatigue, we're also dealing with multi generational workplaces, and perhaps most important, we're dealing with low employee engagement and low employee retention. According to research by Gallup and the Society for Human Resources Management, less than one-third of employees are actively engaged and passionate about their work, their team, and their organization. The Bureau of Labor Statistics, which tracks median employee tenure, reports that in 2020, the median tenure was down to 4.1 years. This means every 4 years, employers are having to search out new talent, onboard that talent, and bring them up to speed and the necessary skill levels. That takes time, manpower, and finances. So, how can we address the dual challenge of low employee engagement and decreasing employee retention? Well, the answer is really not that hard. Professional development. Professional development can increase employee engagement and retention, help the organization and individuals meet their goals through providing training on hard technical skills such as SaaS coding and the soft interpersonal skills such as communication and teamwork. Professional development helps individuals and organizations anticipate and prepare for future challenges. Every year, LinkedIn Learning produces a research report on the workplace learning environment. And in 2018, they reported that over 90% of employees would stay longer if they believed the organization invested in them, if they felt empowered, if they felt engaged, if they felt enabled. So professional development can meet these two challenges. We can increase engagement and retention through a thoughtful and purposeful use of professional development. About 2 years ago, I brought to SaaS Global my idea of what I then called the Self-Determined Professional Development Cycle, the SDPDC. And it came about because I realized that I probably was not the only person who tended to put off professional development until I realized my annual review was coming up. And then it's a case of what can I find and get done before the deadline? Well, that's not a beneficial use of professional development. So I went back and did some research and created this 5-step cycle to help myself and others maximize their use of professional development. We have the twin goals of competence and capability. Competence is acquiring the new knowledge and skills, but capability is just as important. It's the ability to apply those new skills and knowledge to unfamiliar situations or new challenges. After I created the SDPDC, I realized that it could also be used by managers to help craft a professional development plan for their team. And so today I'd like to take a quick look at stages 1 and 2. This is the foundation to a thoughtful and purposeful professional development with the goals not only of competence and capability, but increasing employee engagement and improving employee retention. So whether you're an individual or a manager thinking about your team, how do you identify the needs? Well, first, it's a good idea to start with current role responsibilities. What are people expected to do? and what types of tasks are they actually being asked to perform? What are the organization needs? What are the goals? Are there potential challenges on the horizon or potential opportunities? Once the individual or manager has identified where the organization is headed and what they're doing right now, it's time to take a look at the individual interests and goals. Are we looking to refine or expand current skills? Are we looking to expand responsibilities? Are there individuals who want to stay in the position they're in? They're happy with it, it meets their needs and their goals. Or are there individuals who would like to have sideways movement or would like to move up the organizational ladder? Looking at all this information helps identify the professional needs of you as an individual or your team. For professional development to be most effective, there needs to be a culture of learning. Learning is a value, a goal of an organization, where leaders and managers set the example in their professional development behaviors and their learning. By using individualized learning plans, an organization shows that it values its employees and their growth. Group learning options are also important for a reason we'll discuss momentarily. But referring back to the LinkedIn Learning Report, they found that over 2/3 of employees prefer to learn at work. So this is an opportunity to use professional development to not only meet employee and organizational needs, but to match the way employees prefer to learn. Why group learning options? Well, in our current environment, we've lost a lot of connections. So many of us are working remotely. Learning together provides the opportunities to increase the connections and the relationships, and LinkedIn Learning has found that learning together increases the effectiveness of learning time. So there are a lot of different ways to do group learning, and the list on this slide is certainly not exhaustive. And we'll talk about a couple of them, but I do suggest you reach out to your human resources or talent development unit. They are the experts in learning. Take advantage of their knowledge and expertise as you draw up a professional development plan for yourself or your team. PearShare is an opportunity to do brainstorming in a slightly more organized manner. There's a common question that needs to be addressed. Rather than starting with a large group of people immediately, split your work team into smaller units of 2 or 3 people. Have the small groups address the question. Then come back as a whole and share what each group has come up with. And having those individual perspectives in each team brings a new energy to the discussion. You may be familiar with reporting back, where 1 or 2 people have the opportunity to attend a conference or a learning session, and then are expected to come back and share what they learned with the whole group. Discussion groups are great, particularly if you want to look at issues of ethics and data analysis or data visualization. If there's someone in your organization or outside of the organization who is an expert or speaks well on a particular topic, invite them in. Do what is frequently called a lunch and learn or a coffee chat. It doesn't have to be formal to be a learning experience. Problem solving, mini challenges, and escape rooms are all opportunities to bring in the SAS coding. SAS provides so many different ways to perform tasks. Take advantage, see how many different ways your group can come up with to solve a potential problem. Many challenges can also be competitive, If you are working on data visualization, have everyone start with the same data and see how many different ways they can come up to create a visual. And then compare the visuals and determine what works best and why. Escape rooms are a series of challenges that can not only build coding skills, but also build teamwork and communication. A book study can be a short book on leadership or some other topic, or it can be going out to lexjansen.com and pulling a conference paper and using that as a study. Case studies look at previous projects your group has been involved in. Go back and do a reflective process. What was the approach used? What worked? What didn't work? If we were going to do this project now, would we approach it the same way? Would we do it differently? All of these are great ways to pull together your group and learn together. So, professional development can be really beneficial, but there are some tips for success I would like to share with you. Schedule time. Learning is a goal, it's a value, it deserves time. The great thing about group learning is it doesn't have to be 4-hour chunks to be successful. Set the expectation that people will do the pre-work, that they will look at the reading material or listen to a TED Talk, and then use the time together for the actual learning experience. If you're working as an individual, in particular, find an accountability partner. Let them know what you're planning to do, a time frame, and how you're going to share what you learn. As always, explore and expand. Look beyond what you're doing now. What is something else you would like to learn about? As an individual or a unit, create a resource library. There's no need for everyone to reinvent the wheel. Remember the twin goals of competency and capability. It's not enough to learn it. Can you use it? So this is a SAS session, so let's talk about SAS resources. There are tons of free resources out there for SAS. There are roughly over 400 plus webinars that SAS has available on a variety of topics and industries. Some are live, a lot of them are recorded and on demand. There's 6 free e-learning courses right now. They are foundational, but that can be great when you're bringing in new people or you have someone in the organization who thinks they might like to be a SAS coder. Direct them to the free e-learning courses. Ebooks, there's 16 free ebooks out there at the moment on a variety of topics, including one on overall data science. There are over 500 video tutorials available, whether they're how-tos or recorded sessions from last year's SAS Global. I don't even know how many communities there are. There are international communities, there are regional communities, they're all there for peer support. They go across platforms and industries, and there's also, as I said, access to the various SAS user groups. Analytics Explorer is more of an individual resource with weekly programming challenges, discussion boards, and career advice. Also, with Analytics Explorer, you win tokens that you can trade in for SAS swag. So that's kind of fun too. So yes, this is a SAS session, but let's talk about some other professional development opportunities that are directly related to SAS. If you're looking to learn more about data science, analytics, or big data, MIT OpenCourseWare is a great resource. edx.org also pulls in courses from Harvard, Cornell, and several other universities. The mini challenges, the data visualization challenges, a great way to do that is to take advantage of the Journey of Analytics database of data sets. I wish I had known about these when I was teaching a graduate course in statistics. It would have been great for homework. Also, TED Talks. There's been several TED Talks about big data and the ethics of analytics and big data. So that's definitely something to consider for a discussion group. For the softer interpersonal skills, please reach out to your organization, HR, talent development. They will be more than happy to work with you to design development specifically for your team and your needs. There are tons of short 15, 20-minute TED Talks on a variety of communication and other interpersonal skills. If you have a work group that enjoys learning in a fun way, that likes playing games, check out wheniwork.com. Now, I hope you haven't been trying to write down all these websites, because there is going to be a handout posted that includes information from the slides and all the URLs. So here, that's 6 different resources just within the SAS website. And so that's fantastic. But let's go back. Why are we talking about this? Because there are issues with employee engagement and there's issues with employee retention. We want to keep our employees engaged. We want to keep ourselves engaged. Life is much better when you're passionate about what you do, when you bring joy to your work and your work brings joy to you. So, improving employee engagement, improving retention, professional development is a great option for that. And I'm going to go back in slides just real quick because I want to pull up the SDPDC one last time and just remind you that step 5 is key. It's not enough to have the learning. You need to think about what you learned, what worked, what you could do next time that's a little bit different that might work better, and to constantly think about your goals and how they fit in with your organization and the work you do, because a good match is important. I look forward to your questions. I hope this presentation has been beneficial, and enjoy the rest of SAS Global 2021. I'm Kelly Smith, and thank you for joining us today.